Okay, we are live. Hi, everybody. It's me, Diana, and I am here with 4 of my good friends. We have Jess.
Hi.
Gabby. Gabby, I think I see you talking, but you might be muted.
Pregnant pause.
Oh my God.
We have Nat.
Hello.
And Kristina.
Hello.
And I see Gabby trying to figure out what is going on, so we will come back to her when time is right. So anyway, we are here because we want to talk about the American Council of the Blind and the National Federation of the Blind, because all of us have had various experiences with them. And there are a couple of people here who are not involved in either. I think Jess, you and Gabby are not involved in either organization.
No.
So it'll be really interesting to hear your guys' input rather. And oh God, it's been a long week.
It's only Tuesday.
I know. So I am very much involved in ACB. I have been a member of my state affiliate here in Massachusetts for the last 6 years. I think I've talked about that in previous videos. I was one of the founding members for our state student affiliate, and I now am serving on the board, which I have been for the last couple of years, and it's been a really good experience. Personally, I've created a lot of good relationships, met a lot of good people. I've been to a few national conventions. I had one experience with NFB, which was a while ago. It was about 11 years ago. I had gone to a teen summer program for them, which is obviously not like the same thing as doing anything with an affiliate or at a national convention, but it was still an experience. And I believe, Nat, you have you been to both events for both? Well, I guess we should start with, like, what are these organizations? So who wants to take that and run with it? Somebody can probably verbalize this better than I can. All right. They're blindness, advocacy, consumer advocacy organizations.
There we go.
They both have similarities and differences. NFB is predominantly well known for having training centers. They have some Maryland, Minnesota, Louisiana. I'm pretty sure I'm missing one, but
Colorado.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Yeah, Colorado. I think is the big one.
Colorado, they're really they do a lot of 9-month training sessions where you go and you kind of develop all your independent living skills. I don't know. I know more about NFB than I do about ACB.
And it's funny because you haven't been to anything. No, I actually know quite a few people who have done the NFB training centers, and I have heard a lot of good and bad things about them, but mainly good. And I think that it really just depends on your outlook on how independence is handled, because I think I talked about this yesterday. I feel like the NFB has more of a philosophy where they want blind people to kind of fit into a certain mold. Versus ACB, I feel like, is more about the individual. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ACB does not have training centers. I honestly, if they did, cannot imagine what that would be like.
I think it'd be very competitive.
I think it would be too.
Blindness organizations. I mean, the blindness community overall as a whole, I feel like, is very we can be pit against each other in certain situations. So I can only imagine if it's like ACB, NFB. I mean,
it already is like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine with training centers. Ooh.
The unfortunate bit about that one is that a lot of it is not created by the actual organizations, but it's created by people who just happen to attend them. Because, so what I do is I used to be on the board for one of the California student division of NFB.
Mm-hmm.
And, I worked with a bunch of great people. They were awesome. And I attended our state, what do you call it? Convention. Yeah. And was a scholarship recipient. And I just felt like, the entire time I was at convention, I had to like live up to this certain expectation, you know?
Hi, Gabby. Welcome back.
I think you're here, yeah.
Hi, Gabby.
Did you hear any of it, or were you just out the whole time?
Sorry.
Can you hear us?
I heard you. I was literally talking, and yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank goodness. Technology only works until it does not.
Yep.
Yep, I understand.
Hey, it's at least we're not dealing with the constant outages that Zoom has been having lately.
Oh God, don't say that.
Oh,
don't say it now.
That was. Sorry.
Sounds
okay,
stressful.
continue.
So somebody in chat actually asked how to get involved with ACB, and this would go for NFB too. I would suggest checking out the website for either organization. For ACB, that is Alpha Charlie Bravo ACB.org. And for NFB, I don't know the
November Foxtrot Bravo.
thank you.
Bravo. Yeah.
.org, NFB.org. I would suggest checking out those websites, seeing if they have an affiliate in your state or even a special interest affiliate. Both organizations have groups for guide dog users, people who are interested in art and creativity. ACB has a lawyers affiliate, an information technology affiliate, and a whole bunch of different things that you can get involved in if you find something that fits for you, and just start small and try to get involved in your state affiliate. Maybe reach out to a president or a board member and start that way.
Yeah.
Because all of that contact information should be on the website.
So can I give kind of like a shameless plug for something with ACB since I work more closely with them?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if you guys want to get involved with ACB and see, because what ACB has been doing is a bunch of they're called community calls, and they started back at the beginning of the pandemic when, you know, everybody wanted to feel connected, and we were just, a lot of people were struggling, especially, you know, a lot of our older blind people who don't really get that kind of connection, and it's just grown over the months. And you know, we had things that went to the national convention this year, and we, like, the community as a whole donated to the auction. And I think when I spoke to the membership services coordinator for ACB yesterday, we had 74 calls on the schedule this week, and they all range from like different topics. So like every day we have what we call coffee socials, where we just check in and, you know, we learn a little bit about people and all this kind of stuff. But then we got stuff on like mental health and essential oils and yoga and all this kind of stuff, and it ranges from like a whole bunch of different. Ooh, man, it's like it's like
there's a lot.
Yeah, a big thing.
Cool. I wish this was advertised more to people that don't.
Yeah,
this is the first I'm hearing. I heard
really
about
not advertised that well.
Yeah,
but they don't advertise, and I think, I mean, I'm a very introverted person, so I think I'd actually really enjoy that.
Yeah. So if you guys do want to get involved, like learn more about ACB and like actually like learn about how to get on the mailing list for the daily schedule, you can email community@acb.org. And that goes directly to Cindy, the membership services coordinator. And she was more than happy to help you guys out and tell you guys about our organization and, you know, tell you about the special interest affiliates and stuff like that.
Cindy is amazing.
I love her to bits. Oh, my Lord. She makes me so happy. And she, yeah.
So does anybody know if NFB does something like that? Just out of curiosity.
I have no idea.
Because I haven't heard it.
The only thing I know about NFB when it comes to this kind of stuff is when they tweet Zoom links, and I really wish they would not, because that is why they get like Zoom bombers, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a risk putting it out on a public page like that.
Yeah.
So if people are on Facebook, there is also an ACB community Facebook group, which I believe is public.
Yes,
right,
it
Matt?
is.
Yeah. And there are posts there about the calls as well. If you, for some reason, can't or don't want to be on the email list, you can find all that information there as well and connect with other members. And I've also found that members of ACB have also been doing their own Zoom calls apart from the community calls to like kind of branch out and, you know, create smaller communities within the larger community, which I think is pretty cool. So we've talked a lot about ACB. Let's kind of go more into NFB. Kristina, I think that you had said earlier you had some stories, like some anecdotal things.
Yeah, I do actually. Let me hang on just a second.
Sorry, I know I put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. I was just figuring out where I was going to put my coffee. I have such a small computer set up here.
I want coffee.
Oh, me too.
I want coffee.
My coffee machine migrated from my bedroom to the kitchen now that I have an actual kitchen.
Yeah,
which is odd. I feel like it's good and bad because then you have to get up, walk to the kitchen,
Exactly.
make the coffee,
Yeah.
as opposed to walking the 5 steps over to where it was.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I remember my mom telling me that she used to go to I'm guessing it's like some of maybe the state convention meetings and stuff like that for the NFB, you know, like maybe before I was really of age to be able to attend those things. So she was kind of familiar with it somehow or another. And then, yeah, you know, once I got to be in middle school, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but, you know, I went through the whole school system with kind of a mix of regular ed and special ed, which I think we're going to talk about eventually on another live stream.
Yeah.
But my
I'd be down.
But my, you know, my visually impaired teacher at the time, who I had for middle school and high school, he was very much into us going to these. Thankfully, I had a friend of mine remind me of what these were called, student seminars, once a year. And I didn't really remember too much about them other than the fact that, you know, they would pick us up in a Greyhound bus and, you know, they'd pick up students from other schools and they'd bring us all to the center in Ruston. And I guess I kind of, since I was so young, I kind of blocked out like all the meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mostly just remember the dance. They would have a dance every Saturday night. One of my friends,
maybe not.
One of my friends just reminded me that when we would go to these things, they would talk about the NFB agenda and any bills that were being lobbied for in Washington and introduce new tech. And we also did an orientation walk every weekend, which I don't remember. I kind of just remember people kind of telling me their
that you block
stories.
it out.
Yeah.
Probably best to keep it repressed.
Yeah.
And, you know, of kind of how they, you know, became blind and got affiliated with NFB and that kind of thing. And I did attend. So that was kind of all through middle school and high school. I went to those every year. But I also went to the buddy program when I was 11 for a month.
And what is that?
That is for preteens.
Okay.
So the people that were there, I want to say they kind of ranged in age from like 10 to 13. And you know, they had I want to say it was like, you know, like everybody stayed in apartments, and I want to say it was like 2 kids per counselor. So it was me and a 13-year-old girl. I was 11 at the time. So we had our own room. Our counselor had her own room in the apartment. And I remember our counselor wasn't she wasn't one of the cool ones that would let us watch our TV or anything. So we just like would hang out in our room and, you know, listen to the radio or, you know, go to any of the you know, we had classes throughout that time. So like we had you know, like everything they taught us was like under, you know, we had to do under sleep shades. So we did, you know, mobility training, which, you know, now that I think about it, really it kind of scares me a bit just thinking about it, because, you know, they would, you know, and I'm talking like back in the 90s, you know, like they would just let each kid go off, you know, throughout the small town on their own. And I think about that now, and I'm like, damn, I was an 11-year-old girl. You know what I mean? Like anything could have happened.
Yeah,
You're
I think
just
about
peacing
that.
out. Like,
I think about that a lot. Like the idea. I feel like Dianna said earlier, their ideals are very all full independence and just kind of, you know, they make you do at the
Which-
training center this. Go ahead.
They, yeah, but that,
I
so yeah,
support the
we
whole-
did mobility, we did braille, did cooking and cleaning. I
It
wish
sounds
I,
do wood shop.
very
Wait,
much-
wood shop.
Did-
Let's
I've
talk
heard
about.
wood shop is what you do in the adult program.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a friend who
Yeah.
almost cut off his finger or hand or
What?
something.
Oh, God.
Nope. Oh
No,
no.
thank you.
Yeah, and I
And-
heard you also had to prepare a meal for. I want to say it was like the big
It's
project.
50
or
I hate
something.
about that.
Like,
I heard about
That
that.
terrifies
That's
me. Let me
insane.
tell
I don't
you.
even
So-
know 50 people, let alone 50
something
people I
like
want
that.
in
Yeah.
my house.
Dude.
People, if somebody in the chat has been to an NFB training center, please tell us.
Educate us.
yeah,
Yes, let us know.
On this
That's
call
what
I
have
actually
been to
have-
NFB
I
that's
actually
not
have
what I'm familiar with. I'm only familiar with that
I
one
have a
summer
story to
at
tell you about that.
the buddy program. But
What, Gabby? What is it?
The one great skill I
Oh,
learned from
what's
there
your-
though was that I did learn how to type on the keyboard. So
That's good.
took that
Yay.
one.
Always
Um,
useful.
Gabby, what was your story?
Ooh,
One of my
I know where she's
friends-
going with this.
One of my friends went to yes, Jessica knows about
I'll
this
add
story.
on
This
when
is
she's done.
horrendous. One of our friends went to the NFB thing in Minnesota. Is that where it is, right?
Yeah,
Whatever.
mine
There's one in
And-
Minnesota.
for a job.
They gave
Right.
her.
Mind you, she wasn't
most-
affiliated with NFB before. She was just kind of an outsider coming in.
Yes.
That sounds about right.
Awful to her.
Yeah, and so it was ridiculous. Like, she would call me every day and she was like, "You would not believe what they're having me do." And I'm like, "What? Explain to me." And the whole thing about, listen, I'm all about independence. Like, I'm all about, okay, let's. But, like, the way that they were doing these things, like, she told me about the whole woodshop thing. She told me about how they would kind of take you to a place and say, okay, you need to figure out how to get back to the,
Yes, they
to the
do
center
that.
or whatever.
It was like they
And
expected her, as someone that
And-
wasn't, affiliated with them, to just go in and I cannot snap my fingers, to go in and
I can't stand it.
yeah, there you go. Go in and just get with the motto, get with the program. And if she didn't, well, that
Mhm.
and they ended up firing her after.
Oh, that
Yep.
is
Yeah.
awful.
And the person who was in charge of it, like, I, no offense to anybody who's like affiliated with NFB and that's in the chat, but like,
Yeah.
the person that was in charge of the program that summer was just such a, like, she was just horrible.
So unwelcoming and unfriendly. And I understand,
Yeah.
you have a mission to uphold. Yeah, you're going to be responsible for helping kids. I think she was doing the buddy program. I could be wrong. Something like that. But at the same time, if you're new and you're if you don't know anyone, I am just such a friendly person. I will reach out and make myself known to you and be helpful. And they were not at all. And I was like, girl, I give you respect and props
They
'cause
weren't.
I could not do that.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
sounds scary
mean,
to say
I
the
don't
least.
do it.
Horrible.
So this is what I can say honestly is because I just don't want people to think that we just are bashing on the NFB or
Oh yeah,
anything
no, we
like
are
that.
not. We're not.
Yeah,
no,
no. But my thing is like
No.
each organization is definitely goes at different paces, and at least my
Mhm.
hot take all the time is you go at the level of to your independence that you're comfortable with, and if the organization can't meet you where you are, then it's not the right organization for you.
And I
Right.
feel like the NFB doesn't meet you where you are. I mean, I can tell you
Yeah.
personally,
No, definitely.
my biggest fear, let me tell you, is this drop off. Because I think what they do
Yes.
is they drop you
Yeah.
Oh
off.
my god.
Okay, let me tell you, I'm an okay traveler, but I get anxious. I am not if you
Same.
some-
Yeah.
panic, it's bad.
Well,
They
'cause
drop you off in a random location and you have to go to 3 stops on your own across the whole city, and just thinking about it is making my shoulders tense.
No, I heard that they drop you off and you have to find your way back to the center, but you can only ask 3 questions.
What?
3
Yeah.
questions, yes.
That too.
That's what I was told. That's what our friend told me. She was like,
so
yeah, that's
we
what they
actually
do.
have.
ahead,
and Gabby know her, Jess, Chelsea, your friend Chelsea.
Yep, that's the one.
And she said that they wanted her to change her cane, which is another thing, because the NFB, from my understanding and from what I experienced at Youth Slam, which is the program that I went to, they really
use straight canes.
Yes, they really use straight canes, but they also want your cane to go to the bridge of your nose.
Oh God, that's scary.
Yeah, they are very long.
wow.
I'm pretty sure I still have my old one from when I was 11.
Yeah, they want you to have a tall cane because I think that their reasoning is that they think that you need to have a very wide arc, which I guess, but at the same time, it's like, look, I'm 5'2". If my cane goes to the bridge of my nose, which is like a little under 5 feet, whatever,
wait, the other 2 inches are your head?
You
Like,
know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry, I had to think about it.
If my cane goes to the bridge of my nose, which is about like 4 foot, whatever, I do not need a 4 foot wide cane arc to my left and right.
That also just terrifies me because I mean, especially if you like live and work in like New York City where there's people everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
I think my biggest, at least for me, my biggest thing, especially because, I'm an okay cane user. It's not my favorite. My favorite will always be a guide dog. I'm so sorry. And I feel like if your level of blindness and your worthiness of being blind and independent should not come from how well can you use your cane.
I mean,
because there's so much more to that. And if I'm going to travel, I prefer to travel with my dog.
Exactly. And I don't like the fact that they like make you not use your dog and not work your dog.
If you go to a training center, if you go to a training center and you have a guide dog, you have to kennel your guide dog.
Yeah,
you are allowed to use your guide dog.
I mean, also, I don't like the idea that, like Nat said, just to go off of that your worth is defined by whether you can get lost and find your way back. You're defined by you can.
I'm still lost. I permanently am lost.
I get lost. I get lost.
At least let me get lost with my dog,
Exactly. Yeah. Or let me get lost and let me panic and freak out a little bit.
It's fine.
So, I don't like the idea.
I feel like the thing is, when you're in a new place that you've never been before, like, of course you're going to be confused and be like, well, I don't know where I'm going.
I mean, I think they train you, but still, just the concept.
Yeah, but even if they train you, the fact of, like, they're technically, and again, we're not bashing here, but like they're kind of saying, okay, we don't care if this is your comfort level and if this is the pace
we're going to push you as far as you need,
but we're going to make you do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the idea, like, you should not have to be. It's like they want to define you by what you can do, and if you can't, you're not worthy of being a quote good blind person quote. And like you can be amazing and not cook at all. Like I hate cooking just because I just don't like cooking.
So we actually have someone in chat who went to the Louisiana Center, and
hi person in chat.
her name is Kelly. Hi Kelly.
That's my friend Kelly. Yep.
Kelly.
So she says that they their reasoning for the cane thing is that the longer cane helps you walk faster, which I don't know personally. I use my cane goes to like about my armpit area, so I don't know. And she also says that in her 10 years of experience as a VR counselor, many of her clients don't have problem-solving skills. So I don't know if that's like specific to the NFB, like if she was working like somewhere that was affiliated with the two of them, with the NFB. But there are also a couple of people in chat here who are as well terrified about the drop-off thing, which I personally think is very justified because I am also terrified about the prospect of.
I just think the idea of being ditched and all right, I'll figure it out. I'd love that.
My figuring it out tactic is panic. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You need to. I will wander around aimlessly and never ask people because I don't approach people well and just be like, help.
But that works for some people. Like honestly,
my thing is like the.
No, go ahead, Gabby.
First Nat, then Gabby.
Go ahead.
Wow, we're going by roll call now. My thing is that if you Like for some people, that more like aggressive approach to it, it works for some people, you know.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of the times, at least in my experience, I don't want to offend you, Kelly, or anything, but my VR counselor was very much like, you need training, and I just did not. And you know, that was her thing. And because NFB and I guess our services had something that they wanted to send me to an independence training place, and I was like, that is not where I belong, you know. And that's when advocating really comes in, because
Yeah, you have to know your own comfort level. I mean, I know for me personally, I don't take well to very confrontational, do it, figure it out approaches of training. Like
also don't force me to be blind by wearing some sleep shades. I'm already blind.
Exactly. I mean, I'll completely shut down and panic and not engage because I just don't feel comfortable opening up.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I wonder if anyone in the chat's visually impaired and had to wear sleep shades, let us know how that went, because I've always been totally blind. But the idea of having to be completely shaded, if that's even what you'd call it.
I can speak to that a little bit. Because I know more recently I've heard from people that you know, there are some people that want to do the cane trap, you know, the orientation and mobility training, you know, with their vision. But, you know, my thing is, you know, me personally, I always learned, you know, whether it was from the Lighthouse for the Blind or whether it was from NFB, I was always taught to do it with sleep shades on, which to me makes sense because, I mean, none of us can predict how long we're going to have our vision. So,
yeah, and I think that's what the NFB, like, that's
which is
why
a good tactic. I will say I do agree with that because vision is such an unstable, fluctuating concept.
Right.
With it from the perspective of someone that's never had vision, so it's very biased, obviously.
I know
I think the whole idea.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, it's fine.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know that if you go to a center and you do, even if you have light perception, they do make you put a sleep shade on. This was told to me by a friend who went to a center and had light perception, and they somehow faked it. So, like, the people believed that they had no light perception and didn't have to wear a sleep shade. I don't know how that worked. Evidently, it worked out very well because they never had to wear a sleep shade during their training. But I
wouldn't have to then.
But I have heard anecdotally that from people who are visually impaired who have gone to a training center, whether it's NFB or another training center that has a similar sort of sleep shade training, and they have had to wear a sleep shade, when they're done, they feel like that their vision has gotten worse because they were taught how to do all of these things with the sleep shade and not with the amount of vision that they have.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I don't know. I've never experienced any of that. I've never been to an NFB training
I will
center.
also say, I think all of us have had blindness training. Like, we've been, you know, whether that's from VRC, is that what it is? Vocational rehab? Yeah? I don't know. Whatever it's called.
Vocational rehab, yeah.
Yeah, vocational rehab or whatever. We've all had other blindness training, you know, in addition. So I think, like, I feel like if you're in a situation where you're newly blinded and you need that, like, really regimented 9 months, figure it out kind of thing, then that could work for you. You know what I mean? So it is really all about, like, perspective, and it is really all about where you're at in life and what you think you need.
Yeah, so there is actually somebody in chat who went to the Colorado Center, I think, and they said that he says, I've been shaded. It was not fun at all.
I appreciate this. I've been shaded. I too have been shaded. I too have been shaded.
No, what were you saying? I want a producer credit for that. Thanks.
And Kelly also says that LCB is getting better at meeting people where they're at, which I think is good.
Yay! That makes me happy.
Hopefully that happens with the other. Oh, okay. The Glitched Vision, who has been shaded, says that it was in Texas, where they had received training. So I think that that's good. That it appears that the Louisiana Center is, it sounds like, willing to meet their clients kind of like in the middle. Yeah. I hope that that trend continues with the other centers.
Yeah, no, definitely, because at least for me, the big turnoff for, when it came to NFB was intellectually, they were like, you're amazing. What great things are you going to do? And that felt great.
Right.
But then, like when it came to like general sessions and listening to all the, all the resolutions and everyone getting so passionately angry about things, I just felt like out of, it was out of my league.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, I mean, I'm very quiet, which people find shocking. But normally, like when I don't know you and I'm in group situations like that, I'm very, kind of awkward, and I don't really know how to fit in like that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if I joined, I would have to kind of carve out a niche for myself and make myself heard and make
feel like
myself
that's
approachable. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, that was it.
What do you call it? For me, it's the same type of way. Like, I'm very social and very, like, friendly or whatever. But I feel like once you're in a situation where you're kind of being forced to do something that you're not really used to, and it's kind of, again, out of your comfort zone, you're kind of just going to shut down and be like, well, I don't know if this is what I want to do. And I think back to what Nat had said earlier about just the level of people's, I guess, like, training and...
Sorry.
Did someone fall off the roof? Are you good, fam?
I was grabbing my AirPods and like they slipped out of the case and fell. And I'm gonna mute and turn on off camera like for someone seconds. Sorry. Hold on.
Continue, so Gabby.
That was hilarious. No, but like it's just a matter of like if you've been taught to do something a certain way, and if you're not comfortable with whatever you're being taught or, whatever you're learning at these conventions, these centers and programs, it's like, again, everybody learns these skills at their own pace. I'm sure all of us here have different mobility skills. Some of us may be better than others. It's just about what we know. It's not about like, oh, I can do this and I'm better than that person. And I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of...
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Well, I just personally think that I think the NFB training center sounds like a good thing on paper. Because of because of the independent living skills that you are able to gain, especially if somebody has lost their vision recently. But the O&M thing scares the hell out of me. And I personally, me as a person like who's, visually impaired, I have low vision, I just don't feel comfortable doing the shade thing because like I know that my vision has been stable. It is going to continue to be stable because, I see a retina specialist every year, and that's what they had told me. It may get blurrier as I get older, but there's no chance that I'm going to like lose it completely. And I would personally rather learn things with the amount of vision that I do have. And I'm not knocking people who go the NFB route because like that's great. I'm glad that you are going and like, gaining your independence and seeing that this is something you really want to do. That's awesome. I just personally don't think it's for me.
Same.
And I think that...
By the way...
Great. So somebody in chat also says that they think the NFB is too political for their liking. So funny story, my state affiliate for ACB as well as NFB, for the most part, they get along very well, which I have heard from others is not the norm. Typically, I believe that they have signed legislation together. We actually were going to have a luncheon with them in June that was obviously canceled due to the virus. But there's a good rapport with the NFB, at least here in Massachusetts on the state level. Both of the affiliates seem to get along amicably. There are people who are members of both organizations who go to both conventions. But I know that, like, depending on where you live, that's obviously not probably going to be the case. I know for a fact, my boyfriend, Onkar, who's in the chat, he's moderating, he has told me that his state affiliate for ACB and NFB do not get along. And I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong because I only know what's happening here, that maybe like it might be more like that in other parts of the country. Does anybody know?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't even know how ours is out here. I have no idea.
I know in California there's like a bunch of not ACB, NFB like sub chapters. I'm like, you guys are only 45 minutes away. Meet in the middle. What are you doing?
Right.
I think we have one state division for NFB. I don't know about ACB though.
I think that ACB may have multiple regional chapters in New York. I'm not 100% sure because I know that you guys.
Going to Google.
Your state hosted the convention last year. Thank you, Nat, for doing research. So somebody in chat, if I can read this without making myself look stupid.
Squint harder.
Squint harder. Rachel says, when it comes to training, learning, and visually impaired blindness, visually impaired, I'm reading this verbatim. Visually impaired blindness, everyone's needs, learning style, independent levels, transition needs, emotional support, opinions about disability varies. Yes, I agree that everybody's opinion does vary because we are all individuals.
Sorry, that's my dog.
There's an affiliate for New York.
For ACB?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there is. I just didn't know if they had any regional chapters within that.
Oh, brother.
Because I know that we do here in Massachusetts. I'm sorry.
You're going to make me click the link. Fine. It's good.
I hate when that happens. You have to like click for more information.
Yeah, you're just like, ugh.
NFB apparently did reach out, or they offered like an olive branch to ACB at their national convention, which happened after ACB's this year. Because usually they don't happen, or usually they do happen at the same time. But because, everything was whatever. Kelly says that NFB offered to speak with ACB at a national level. ACB didn't respond to the request. And I had heard that they had offered it. I don't, again, know if any of the higher ups in ACB were aware that they were reaching out.
Yeah, I wonder who they were reaching out to.
I think they just said in general. I don't know if they spoke directly to Dan Spoon in this address that Mark had made, but I think they were speaking ACB in general, which, by the way, I did a poll on my Twitter a few hours ago that I believe has closed or will be closing. I will look at my notifications.
Yes, there are different branches of the New York one. If you wondered.
There are or aren't?
There are.
Okay, that's what I thought, because Onkar just texted me to ask a friend of ours who lives in New York and would probably know, but you did the research, so...
Yeah, Onkar, don't take my thunder, man.
Let me find this poll. Found it. Okay, it hasn't closed yet, actually. There's 15 minutes left in this poll, which I will post the link for.
Yeah.
I voted in it, yeah.
So I did a poll on Twitter.
You had just the right amount of options, too.
The link is posted in chat. I don't know if chat links are clickable, but basically it's asking which organization you are involved in, ACB, NFB, both, or neither. And so far, neither is winning.
I mean, honestly, okay, so going back to the whole, NFB olive branch thing, is I feel like it, at least for me, it doesn't mean anything if the members are not behind it. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know that people who actually work at the NFB or ACB are particularly like, oh man, those NFB people are but it's a lot of it's like a cultish kind of, we're just going to war against each other because we can't agree to disagree and agree that not, and it drives me crazy.
Exactly. I also think
because they always had that idea that
I've always had that idea that ACB and NFB just honestly are like, oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Right. Because they're the two biggest blindness organizations. And I think for me, I don't know if I do NFB because I feel like NFB is so huge that I feel like I'd get like just lost because there are just so many people in it.
exactly.
Yeah, ACB at least. I don't
I mean,
know
like
about
the calls and stuff with
membership.
ACB, they're trying.
Yeah, I don't know about
Mhm.
ACB membership as a whole, like national level, like how many members each organization has. But I know that attendance at the conventions, usually NFB typically has more attendees at their national conventions, from what I've heard. Not just from attendees, but also from a few vendors. So when I was at the NFB program that I did, which like this was 11 years ago, and I
Back
believe
in my day.
I believe they are no longer doing this program. I think they may have done it once or twice after, and then they changed the name of it and the whole like thing. So what I did was called Youth Slam. It was at the University of Maryland. It took place for like a week during the summer, and it was kind of like STEM based activities, not necessarily STEM. So
I thought it was
basically,
poetry. I'm sad now.
no, there was no poetry actually. The when you were signing up for it, you could choose which track you wanted to be in. Like you had a first, second, and third choice, and because obviously it was due to capacity. So the like group that I did was like architecture, and
Mhm.
we got to go and look at like an eco-friendly house, and
Ooh.
we basically were like putting together like we were designing like a home basically was like the whole thing that we were doing that week, like my particular group. And then within the architecture group we were all split up into little smaller like groups, and I know there was a group that did something with driving. There was one that created their own chat bots. Yeah, there were all these different parts of the event, and we would do that during the day, and then at night it was more of like the social aspect. But also I did experience the whole cane thing. um, People were really wanting me to use an NFB cane. By people I mean like the counselors were really wanting me to use an NFB cane. I have a cane from Ambutech. It's folding, it's graphite, I love it. I did try an NFB telescoping cane. It was okay. I just found it to be a bit flimsy. It might have been because of the type of cane that I chose. I have no idea. But um, I I had fun with the social aspect. I did not, however, agree with some of the things that I was overhearing from the counselors and the more experienced NFB members, because they were really talking more about like all of the suing and the litigation that they have had to like do for all these various companies in order
They do
to
that
make
for a lot of things.
yes, in order to make things accessible. They for instance, I think they sued Target. This was a specific example that someone had told me, because the at this time the way to access the shopping cart online was not accessible, which like is a important thing that you should be able to do if you are blind and using their website. But I know with ACB, I don't know if NFB does this, but I know with ACB they are taking the more structured negotiations route and trying to avoid going into a lawsuit. I could be wrong, but I thought that that is what I heard from various people who are in leadership, and I think that they've talked about that at conventions. But honestly, I tuned some of that out. Very upfront. So somebody in chat says they don't like the idea of a good and bad blind person, and
Yes.
I 100%
Yes.
agree.
Yes. I feel like their motto is you have to be fully, like, in order to be deemed, quote, worthy, you have to do all the things.
Yes.
Can I just say I'm
Right.
proud that my cane is a 4-year-old golden retriever from Guide Dogs for the Blind, and I have no problem with it. Like, I don't know, that's just me.
Am I the only person here who's never used a guide dog?
I've gone on like quite a few walks because in New York we're so spoiled with GEB, GEB Guiding Guides for the Blind and GDF, and I visited both, but I don't have one.
I'm
I mean,
planning
y'all
on
know
getting
I'm a
one when I
retired
graduate.
Yeah.
Dotson, we shall convert them one by
but
one.
I
My
think-
dog is over there.
Oh, I want one too. They're great.
Dianna, I have a question for you because I know you've been to like the ACB conventions. I don't know how many years you've been there, but like
I've been to 6.
6?
okay, so like has there has anything changed between the 6 that you've gone to? Like, do you see like, okay, I don't know, like what do they discuss for the actual, organizations?
So
What do
it's
they
funny
discuss there?
because, as of a couple of years ago, they shortened the convention by a day, which is both a good and bad thing, because that means that everything is happening at once, more so now than it was previously, when it was like it would go from a Friday to the following Saturday, and now it goes from Friday to Friday, which means that everything has been shifted a day, and you have to pack more content into less time. And in my experience going to the general sessions, they are 90% sponsors talking. So Uber, Aira, Microsoft, Amazon, they all have representatives that they send to convention, and they, because they're sponsoring the convention, they're like paying, they're donating, like they're paying money to ACB to sponsor the convention, and they are all talking about their various like things that they're doing, obviously mainly in terms of accessibility, because we're all blind people. Not so much of it is devoted to the organization standpoint until you get to Wednesday or Thursday, where it is the last day of session. They go through all the resolutions, they go through the bylaws, anything that may have to change within the Constitution, and then typically there are elections that happen for either for the officers or the board, depending on what year it is. Obviously, there was no voting this year because nobody can figure out how to do remote voting.
No, as a Zoom host, no. I can formally say it, no.
Yep, it's the same thing with my state affiliate. They are trying to work behind the scenes here, at least for my state, to change some of the stuff in our constitution at the state level. But obviously, things have to be approved.
It's harder, I think, because it's all virtual.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is
Although,
the issue.
I will say, I think it offers people, I mean, I know for NFB, it's like an exorbitant amount of money to attend one of these conventions. And
it's for ACB too.
I cannot, do that. So I think it did allow people to attend convention virtually who could not do it financially before. Like, I do value that.
So someone in chat, actually, I think that they have been to both NFB and ACB conventions, and they said that the ACB convention was more relaxed. I can see that, just based on the environment. The one event that I went to for NFB, again, this was different. I was a teenager. It was supposed to be a fun thing. Everybody was loud and like very like in your face, like NFB, like we're blind, like rah rah. We had a walk from to the Capitol building from somewhere on like the last day that I was like at that event so many years ago for NFB. And it was crazy. I can't even remember what we were doing or protesting, but people had signs. It was definitely something to be a part of. And I, at the time, very much enjoyed being a part of it, but now I couldn't even tell you what we were doing.
If those signs weren't in Braille, then you weren't real.
They were not in Braille.
Then it didn't happen.
I think I have footage of the one in Florida from someone's YouTube channel, and it looked terrifying as an introvert. So many people everywhere.
Yeah, I've never seen any, because I've never been to an NFB convention at the state or national level. I vlogged my experience with my last year's ACB convention on my channel.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was
really
going to do
enjoyed
that
watching that because I've never seen that before.
Sorry, what, Kristina?
No, I was saying I really enjoyed watching that because I've never seen anything ACB before. I've gone to the national convention like when it's been locally, but like when it went local, it would just be my mom and I going for a little while one of the days, and that would be about it. And I didn't usually see anybody around there that was my age.
You definitely have to look for people. So with ACB, they do have a student affiliate. NFB does too. ACB, typically the students who go to national convention are scholarship winners. And then, you have the board of officers for the student affiliate who are all students, obviously.
Yeah.
However, and this is not specific to the student affiliate. This is like as a whole, and I'm sure NFB has this too. Sometimes there's an issue with keeping those members after convention or after they're, set to pay dues for the next year, because like some people kind of lose that momentum after national convention, which I can understand. Definitely. But unfortunately, you really have to pay attention to the schedule. Also, I was just reminded of this, which can't believe I forgot because I used to serve on a committee. ACB has a Next Generation affiliate, which is for young professionals and students between the ages of 26 and 40. So if anybody in chat is interested in learning more about that, you can contact me, or you can look up.
I'm 40. Does that count?
Or you can look up ACB Next Generation on Facebook. There is a Facebook page. They post updates, and we can get you involved if you would like to be involved. And there are definitely younger people at ACB, but I feel like that more younger people tend to go to NFB, at least.
Yeah, NFB has a huge
That's what I was saying.
division.
Whenever I would go to the NFB conventions, I wouldn't see any other young people.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just looking at chat.
I'm looking at chat. Hi, people in chat. Yay.
I have no idea how to look at chat.
I have it enabled so you guys can see the comments, but it's in like a sidebar. I don't know how to access it.
Yeah, I do see them to my right.
Yeah, I have no idea how to access it with a screen reader.
I just tapped around. It's fine.
So somebody says, not sure if NFB has changed their views, but they are/were against audio description and accessible money. I've heard that, actually.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Me and Nat are like, wait.
I have heard that, not on the money thing, but I've heard that about the audio description thing. Another person that I know who's involved in NFB has told me that. The same person, Rachel, she says, I have been to both conventions, and when I went to NFB, many were upset that I walked around without a cane, but my vision was good enough to do that. I'm going to speak to that comment for a second. So, I did that once at the program that I was at. I got yelled at because I didn't have my cane,
that's so weird.
Unfolded, and I wasn't using it, and I have enough vision to get around and pass as a sighted person. And I also got reprimanded for giving somebody sighted guide.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Which was very discouraging for both of us. For both me and the person that I was guiding.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, they definitely like you to use your cane at those conventions. Yeah. And as some of y'all know, I'm not usually a cane user.
Yeah, and so that's the thing is, like, with ACB, it's really up to you as an individual.
Like ACB is more of a come as you are, whereas NFB is like a more regimented, conform, you have to do this.
You have to do this, exactly.
Accessory or accessibility audio description from the NFB. BRB going down a rabbit hole. I Google things I don't know, okay? I was like, wait.
Can you imagine the times before Google?
No, this is why I did not exist before the times before Google. But
yes, somebody just confirmed that NFB is against sighted guide.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
So growing up, people, I had vision when I was a little kid. I had them cute bottle cap glasses that just magnified everything for me. And,
me too.
And I it's not that I didn't like my cane, but it's more just that going sighted guide, especially during summer camp and stuff growing up, was just easier,
Yeah.
And people were,
Yes.
once people found out I wanted a guide dog, they were like, well, you're never going to get a guide dog if you don't use your cane. And that mentality just really irritated me because it was like, you know what? I'm blind. I'm sorry, I'm not the blind that you want me to be, you know? But then when I got my guide dog, I really wanted to be like, and you said I couldn't get
Exactly.
a
I mean,
dog.
I feel like, my thing is about convenience. Yeah, I can go to the airport and try and figure out everything on my own and struggle. Or if I ask for assistance, I can get assistance and make it faster. Like, it's about efficiency is what
Yep.
it comes to for
Yeah.
me.
Yep,
I mean, they have,
absolutely
I
agree.
think
Yeah.
somebody was telling me they went to a center and they were like, oh, you need to go to the grocery store and pull the cart yourself. And I'm like, my goodness. I mean, yes, you want to be independent, but I will always take the faster, more efficient route.
BRB going to Instacart. Thank you.
I know somebody who was a scholarship recipient for NFB. This was like 6 years ago. And she said that when she was talking on the phone with them for them to arrange her travel, like her flights to and from convention, they were going through, putting in all of her information. And they were like, okay, request assistance. Nope, we don't need that. And my friend, who is completely blind, was like, yes, we do need airport assistance. Thank you. I personally, listen, okay, there's also apps that you can use for that. Like you can call an Aira agent if you want to, or you can get a person from the airline to help you. But I will always just, like Jess said, do the most efficient thing. And if that is finding an airline person to help me get to my gate, then that is what I'm going to do.
That's what I usually do too. And I actually never even heard of Aira before I heard you mention it on your channel.
I have an interesting relationship with Aira.
I want to try Aira at an airport. I just, like do not
do
do it
the glasses
in LAX.
anymore, which is
They
a
do
little
not do the
off-putting
glasses
to me.
anymore.
Because that would, yeah.
Yeah, they don't do the glasses
it's just
anymore.
this mentality of like, oh, you have to do it this way. And
Like you're conforming.
Again, like I understand, like, these are what those specific people want for themselves and what they want for the people who are, more comfortable with those types of things. But again, it's like, this is not what every blind person is used to. This is not what every blind person is comfortable with. It's like, you can't just pressure people to conform to that idea of like, oh, it has to be this way, it has to be that way. No, it doesn't. Because if somebody knows an easier way or something else that can help them or help their friends or somebody else in the blind community, it's like, okay, let's try it this way. And I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say it in a bad way, but it kind of makes it like, okay, you're being a little closed-minded because you're not really trying to understand that your way can't always be the end-all be-all.
That's what I feel like it is, Gabby. That's spot on. With NFB, it's their way or the highway.
Yes, so there's actually somebody in chat who says, my state rehabilitation training center would not give me mobility training because I did not want to do sleep shades.
No way. What?
Wow, what?
Weird,
They denied you O&M training because you didn't want to wear sleep shades?
I'm sorry, that's dangerous.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Nat. What were you saying?
No, I was just thinking, like, also, the idea of wearing sleep shades, I only tolerated them when I did my brief thing with Goalball. And that's because that's a necessity, but having to walk around with them is
Can you
awful.
imagine right now, sleep shades and a mask?
No, I'm good. No,
the whole
fine.
face is covered. No.
Dianna, I just tagged you in the audio description, accessory or accessibility article on your Twitter, if you want to share it with them.
I will. Thank you very much. Also, my poll ended.
Oh, how did we do?
What are the results?
It received 17 votes. So thank you to the 17 people who voted. Neither one.
You're welcome.
Always. I'm surprised we've gotten such good foot traffic in the chat.
So we have 17.6% voted for ACB, 23.5% voted for NFB, 5.9% voted for both, and 52.9% voted for neither. I wish it would give me like the actual numeric value instead of the percentage.
Yeah, I know of like 8 other people in 8 other people in real life, and I don't know, I'm not sure how many of them are members of NFB. I know a few of them go to things every once in a blue moon, but it's not an everyday thing for them.
Right.
Most of the people I know aren't affiliated with either one. They just want to be their own independent person.
Right. Like
That's
I
how
know
I
people.
feel. I don't want to like conform. You know what I mean? Like I feel join one or the other. I'm like I have a label like, oh, you don't like this or this or this or vice versa.
Dotson, let's go to a training center. I hope you've polished up your wood shop skills, because we're gonna be making something.
I would be terrified to do wood shop.
No, I'm good. I'd rather go to IKEA. It's okay.
I mean, I went to a summer camp for a few years when I was younger, like a regular summer camp, not like a blind camp. And we did do like a wood shop thing, but we were like 10. There was no actual like saws and hammers and stuff happening. It was more like, put this thing together and an adult will handle the rest of it for you. Because we were children. And then I went to a blind camp for a couple of years during the summer, which I really enjoyed. And I can't remember, I don't think we did wood shop. We did have pottery and arts and crafts type stuff, but we didn't do wood shop.
Yeah, I've never done wood shop.
I don't think I would want to do wood shop.
What do blind people need to be in wood shop for? Like, unless you're going to be out here building things.
Listen here,
well-rounded as possible. Like, if you find yourself knowing your life calling is to be a lumberjack, well, the NFB taught
I want to sit
go get you some flannel.
In the wood shop
You'll be
class.
fine.
And almost cut off my finger. Thank you.
Right. So somebody says a sighted person could cut their finger using power tools. A blind person can do that too. And it doesn't matter if you can see or if you can't.
I mean, there's also even more of a risk.
There's also just a risk factor that I think people are forgetting, because when it comes to wood shop and when it comes to just doing anything, any kind of handyman material, one of the big things is you get to eyeball things. You could be like, okay, this might pose a problem.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to realize that just like not every blind person is meant to fly a plane and will never fly a plane. You should not be out here being like, well, I'm just going to build this cabinet.
I wish they would customize it as well. Like, okay, maybe I don't want to make a meal for 50 people, but I can do 10 or 15. Maybe I can't do a full drop-off route, but I can do a quarter of one or half of one. Allowing
it's still a success. And
where
it's
you
still
at.
your
Exactly.
personal success.
You're still able to hit the goals, but they're adapting it for you. And I think that's the thing. They're trying to make, I feel like as disabled people, we have to adapt so much. And the NFB is trying to show you, oh, you don't need to adapt. You can do anything and everything.
You don't have to adapt, but you have to adapt to our philosophy.
Adapt to our standards.
So Kelly says
that was going to be my question. Oh, sorry, Diana.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I can get to this comment.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna.
Go ahead, Gabby.
I'm confused over here. I'm sorry.
Gabby, you can do it.
I'm all over the place right now. I don't know. It's like, I was gonna say, is there ever a compromise? Is there ever just oh, okay, maybe I can't do this, but then again, I just feel like there isn't.
So training people, if you've gone to a center, in the comments, please let us know if you had trouble with something and did they modify it.
So
also tell me what you made in wood shop, because I'm
Kelly
curious.
said that she didn't like wood shop and she would have preferred learning self-defense or home maintenance.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Home maintenance.
I like
That's
that.
important.
Yep.
Yeah, both of those things are important. And then she also says that we are not more at risk, and we are able to do things, just differently from sighted people. We're not more at risk of getting hurt, which I understand. However, if you are putting a bunch of blind people in a room wearing sleep shades with power tools.
Yeah, I'm not walking into a room with people in sleep shades and a chainsaw.
Blind people here. We're all blind or visually impaired. This is not like we are stupid sighted people. No offense, sighted people. Speaking.
How are you just gonna do that? Oh my lord!
Like Nat said, sighted people have enough accidents. Regular, fully sighted people.
Exactly. If a sighted person can cut their hand off with a power saw, so can a blind person. It goes both ways.
I also just want to say I would never like walk into a room of fully sighted people with a chainsaw. Like I just like, but it's my perspective. I was sighted. I'm now blind. Either way, do not come at me with a chainsaw. It is not a good no. Nuh-uh.
No.
I'm so sorry.
I completely agree. It's definitely about learning, but also what you feel comfortable with. I know that
meeting you where you're at. I think that's the biggest takeaway.
I know that here in Massachusetts we have a
everybody needs to meet each other halfway.
I'm sorry, what, Kristina?
I was saying everybody needs to meet each other halfway.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know here, the Carroll Center here in Massachusetts, they do a similar vision rehabilitation independence living program to NFB, but I am positive that they don't use sleep shades, for one. I know somebody who had gone to it very many years ago, and they don't use sleep shades. But it's basically like, from my understanding, similar to the NFB one, because I know people who are from my state who have wanted to go to one of the NFB training centers, and their vision rehab counselor is like, why don't you just go to the independent living program at the Carroll Center? And they had reasoning as to why they wanted to go to the NFB, because it offered more and they were able to, go to a different place and learn these things in a different location. And I understand that, but there are reasons for both. Again, if there were no sleep shades involved, I would probably go to an NFB training center. Probably. And if the drop-off thing didn't sound so terrifying.
I mean, yeah, I think I would go because like I don't like to cook, but I also think it's something I should probably work on.
Yeah.
Like cooking, home maintenance, these life skills that are important. Like I would want to customize it. Like, okay, this is what I need help in. This is what I really don't prefer to learn. You know what I mean? Making it adaptable to what you need and what you would prefer. I think that their idea is, okay, we're going to teach you everything so you know everything.
Yeah, I think no matter where you go, though, you should just, definitely start off small with something kind of short term. And then
do your research.
Do your research, start off with something small, and then see how you like it. And then
exactly. I love this video because it's so informative.
Yeah, I feel like one of the big things is, especially going back to disability, as disabled people, a lot of people are, forced to, like, they're under the impression that they have to conform to everything. No, you guys are allowed to say, I'm not comfortable with this, and that is okay.
Exactly.
If NFB is not for you, that's cool. If ACB is not for you, that is all right. But I think that especially because we're disabled and we're seen as less than in society, we need to be able to stand firm with our decisions and be okay that, hey, being blind this way doesn't suit me, but being blind this way still suits me, and I'm independent and I can do this, and that is definitely okay.
I also think everyone has their own idea of what independence is. Some people might do the full NFB route and take some and navigate that airport all by themselves. And some people might want to, have a guide or have assistance, but it is all about personal preference. And I think like as blind people, so much of what we have to do is decided for us already. People make decisions without approaching us, that I think it's important for us to be able to have that autonomy to be able to make our own decisions for ourselves regarding independence.
Right.
I completely agree. I know that, so someone like Molly Burke, she had said in a video where she had talked about an incident at TSA that she travels a lot. Obviously before the pandemic, she traveled quite a lot. And it sounds like every time she traveled, she would get assistance from the airport.
She made a video of her traveling alone.
Okay, I haven't seen that, but that's great. You have to do what makes you comfortable. If you're comfortable traveling alone, that's great. If you want to get assistance, that's great. Again, it goes back to what you think is the most efficient thing and what you are comfortable doing.
I do, however, want to do, like, that all being said, back to this Aira thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I definitely want to try that because I know my best friend, when she travels, she loves using Aira, and because she just feels like it's more, it's more for her, and that's totally cool. I am an anxious person who looks at the time, and then looks
Yeah.
at how fast I'm
yeah.
walking.
Same.
Me too.
And then I'm like, oh my God, what if I'm going the wrong way? And then I suddenly start overthinking. So what I do want to do is, I do not have like a current. I'm basic, and I don't pay for Aira because I can't afford it. But I would really like that experience because a lot of people say it's very freeing, and I could see why. So it would be cool. But not through LAX because LAX is gigantic.
Aira has like their free 5 minutes thing.
Well,
Yeah.
airports are access locations.
Some are.
Are
Yeah.
they?
Most of them are.
BRB gonna do more Googling.
I'm sure that LAX is because Aira is based in California. Like they're in San Diego.
BRB gonna do some research.
I know that Boston is. I know the airport in Rochester, New York is. I know that pretty much, like for the most part, a lot of the airports, or at least around the United States, are Aira access locations.
Yeah, majority. I mean, I like Aira too, but now what's throwing me off is the fact that there are no glasses, and I have yet to find a good solution for using them hands-free.
The solution that I've heard that some people have is they put their phone in like a thing around their neck, but like also that doesn't sound like a good solution because then your phone's like
swinging all over
the place.
And also, if you're not very tall or if the lanyard's too long,
right.
Oh.
So for anybody who doesn't know what Aira is, first off, check out Gabby's latest video because he did a demo of Aira. And secondly, Aira is it's a phone app. They used to have glasses, but now they don't. And it's a visual interpreter service. So the person that you are getting on the other end is a trained employee from Aira. And Gabby did a really great demo of it on her YouTube channel. She spoke with an Aira agent and he did a really good job explaining everything and like what they are and how they can help. And I highly recommend that you check that out. So
if you want to see what the glasses look like and how that worked, I did a video about 1.5 years ago with the glasses before they got discontinued on Aira. So if you want to see what it was like before as opposed to what it's like now, actually that's a good, I'm glad you did one too, Gab, to compare and contrast.
Yeah, because the only time that I ever did a video on them was when I demoed the glasses at convention last year.
Yeah.
I can just say this one thing, okay? Aira, I cannot stress, has really helped because when I moved in here, we didn't get our own, like, we got our own words. Wow.
You're going to say rifle.
Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi. This is why I do a podcast because my producer can edit out my words. But when I moved in, we got our own like Wi-Fi routers and stuff like that, and the passwords are so long.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God, and literally I could not. My RA couldn't figure it out. And obviously, I wasn't about to figure that out. And I called Aira, and they were so good. So
I know. I got a smart TV as a gift for my birthday, and there was like a code you had to use to or something. And I was like, "Can you please just take a picture of the screen and read it out loud?"
Oh my God, dude! I literally was setting up a smart TV too today.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
They help with that, really?
Yeah, and like. It's super accessible until you get to the codes thing. And I just remember being like, I literally do not have time for this skip. And then I'm going to be like, but I want to log into Netflix.
I will say, they're very, my school is an access site, which I'm really proud of because I'm the only blind student. And it took a lot of advocacy, but it has been so useful, especially like when it comes to writing papers that require you to have the exact correct form of API and the exact font and the exact spacing. And I'm like, goodness. Hey.
This one poor agent I had to work with last semester.
Oh no.
God bless her for this because
I know.
I had a professor who, Dianna, if you guys want to know about it, I'll tell you after. But literally the assignment required us to go through 100 slides, which may I add were not accessible in any way, shape, or form. And I called up this agent and I was like, and luckily, like, this was still the distance learning code because, like,
and you can bring that back.
I'm not paying $29 for like 30 minutes. So I used that, and I was literally on the phone with her for like almost an hour, and she was like going through them, trying to like add the text and caption the pictures. And I was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'm like, no, I know this is your job to like help people, but like this is just ridiculous.
Wow.
I've had them help me to like describe scenery. I was out the other day, and I love my mother, but like she doesn't always do the greatest job at helping me to describe things. So I was like, oh, what's in front of me? And they were like, oh, there's this. And I was like, oh, thanks, nice.
I love that. I love doing picture descriptions with them. Like my dog's birthday about May. So about 3 months ago. I can't count. 3 months ago, and I had her just like type in all the alt text descriptions to Facebook, and it just was really nice to go over all the pictures and get descriptions for my iPod.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's also Be My Eyes, which somebody in chat points out.
Which is good if you need like free quick things, but it's not confidentiality. Like I wouldn't have a Be My Eyes.
Oh, that just ow.
Oh, that sounded like it hurt. What the heck?
Like you snapped your finger or something.
I snapped my fingers, and then I forgot I had this armchair right here.
But I can't snap. It's very sad.
Somebody sounded like they fell earlier. She just hit her
That was
finger.
my AirPod case, which I found.
This is going great.
So, going back slightly to NFB and ACB, especially ACB, if you have Be My Eyes and you guys want to learn about ACB, they have you can actually call someone from ACB through Be My Eyes.
Oh.
Yeah, and I can't remember the hours. They have like 4 hours where during the day where people will answer the phone and tell you all about and how to join and what affiliates and all that kind of stuff is. So I think that is legit. I really, really like that, because it's Be My Eyes is brief and stuff, but it's also extremely informational.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet either. I'm just so used to either doing things on my own, or if I happen to see somebody around, in public.
There is, when I had the glasses, one of my favorite things to use Aira for, because my campus is pretty big, was Uber and Lyft, because you link the app to like Uber and Lyft, and they can kind of get your car, and they can track your car and stuff, and that made me feel safe. Sorry. That's my little sister who's 7. She makes cameos. No, she was just telling me that like people are leaving.
Oh.
She's so adorable. For that, to help you find your car.
Jess is right, because then they can also obviously like confirm that is your Uber car that's pulling up.
Yeah.
So,
I know guide dog handlers have had to make use of that feature, like if they're on the phone with an agent and their car sees the dog. Their car sees the dog. It's too late. The driver sees the dog and they've taken pictures.
That is awesome. Is there anything we have not covered, or does anyone have any questions in chat? Because we've been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes. And
I know.
Like an hour.
I am really glad that you mentioned the Be My Eyes link up with ACB, because I had no idea about that. So that is a really good resource that I think that people should definitely utilize. You can also get Google and Microsoft help through Be My Eyes, says Rachel. And I saw so if you need help with Google or Microsoft, you can call them through Be My Eyes, and they will get you to a support specialist that is from Google or Microsoft, depending on who you're calling. So it's like one of their like support people from Google or Microsoft. It's not like a Be My Eyes person.
Oh, okay.
Which is good for tech stuff. I also saw they partnered with some different laundry detergent companies. Like if people need help with laundry and things like that. I know that they.
BRB going to go buy detergent. Apparently,
promotions, like if you need JAWS help, if you need, they have like a couple of banks listed. Not most, honestly, but a few. Zoom text help. Like there are certain things that they will pay for, job stuff, but not a lot.
Yeah, so there are certain like promotional offers within Aira that you can just do, like if you're like not paying for an account, or if you are, they won't go out of your minutes.
That distance learning thing was amazing.
I'm surprised
Oh,
that
I
they're
love
not
that
bringing
thing.
that
That was
back.
a-
Because
They
a lot
need
of
to
people
bring that
should.
back.
They need to.
But is there anything else that we want to talk about in regards to ACB?
I think we covered everything. Or
I think we
Anyone
covered a lot.
have questions? Because we talked
Yeah,
a
does
lot.
anybody have any questions or anecdotes?
would you want us to do something else? Like if somebody said something about schooling a while ago, and I would be totally down to talk about
I would
that.
be down. Yeah.
As the
Yeah.
person that did school for the blind experiences until 12th grade and hated it, as referenced in Matt's wonderful blog post, thank you again, is to get perspective. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at another point we should do a panel on, regular ed versus special ed. Or
This was a great video, by
Yeah.
the way, Diana. I love that you did this because I don't think a lot of information is given about either.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
I honestly, because like a lot of
I
people don't
agree.
even know what these organizations are. Like, especially
Exactly.
if someone is losing their vision, it's like, well, hello, like now you have a whole community of blind people. If you want to get involved and meet more blind people, like maybe you can meet somebody who's going through the same exact situation that you are, and like, form a friendship or something. Like I have met a lot of great people through ACB, and I've met a lot of great people who are involved in NFB. And I've known a few people who've switched between organizations, like, going from one to the other. And whoever said it at the beginning, that it's a lot of the animosity, I feel like, is member driven. Was that what somebody
That
had
was me.
Yeah, I do agree
Me.
with that, because it it isn't the people in leadership who are causing all these
No.
problems. It's just, I think there's misinformation and there are stereotypes. That NFB people have like a certain mindset. ACB people never, like ACB never gets anything done. Things like that. And again, it's funny because they used to be one organization quite a while ago, like years and years ago, and then they split into two, and there was this whole thing that happened. So now we have both the ACB and the NFB, but
It was definitely a good, I think, an important topic to talk about. Just, you're right, a lot of people don't know these things. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you, Diana, for putting
Yeah.
this together.
Diana,
Thing is,
before
like,
you
a lot of
end the
these things
stream-
aren't
wait,
advertised.
Sorry.
You're good.
I just
a lot of
assume
these
we're
things
ending all the
aren't-
time. Okay, we're done?
I know.
I do that with my own podcast. I'm like, oh, we're done? Oh, no, we haven't even started.
Oh, real
Okay.
quick though, somebody asked if you get connected to a video call with Aira. You do. It is a one-way video call, so the
Only using the back-facing camera of your phone. There is no
Yes.
way to switch.
Yep. The agent can see what your phone can see. There is the option to flip your camera, I think, too.
I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Weird. Okay. Well,
Never
don't
seen it in the app.
All right.
They can
well,
take
There
pictures
is a way
as
to
well.
do screen sharing, though.
oh,
It's
that's
really
right.
slow and tedious. on the
So
phone.
basically the answer to that question is yes, it is a video call. They can see everything that your phone is seeing.
Right.
And yes, they can do screen share through your phone. They can do screen share through your computer, so they can see your computer screen.
Navigate on your computer too.
Yeah,
Where
they
you
can navigate on your
computer.
computer as well if you're coming across like an accessibility problem, which, now that everybody's doing remote stuff, I feel like that's happening.
They're
a lot.
completely confidential, so you can use them for things that you wouldn't want to use others.
Yes. Aira agents do have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So
Yes.
everything that you do with them on a call is completely confidential. So you do have the ability to give them confidential information if they're entering things into a form for you or something like that.
Right. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What I was going to say was, before you closed out, I did want to shamelessly plug the roundtable thing that I'm having in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, so apparently we're ending, you guys. So I have created a Patreon, and I created it with the intention of, of actually using it. But then right out of the gate, I had a lot of accessibility issues because I'm a screen reader user, and it was just awful. And a lot of the responses I was getting from Patreon support was very meh, like very non-committal. And recently ACB and Patreon, came to this agreement that Patreon would be more accessible.
Good.
And literally on the heels of that is when I created my Patreon. And, after being tired of, I feel like, being ignored, because we do have other disabled content creators who are blind, who use Patreon,
Yep.
but clearly have sighted assistance and
Yep.
all this kind of stuff. I decided, because I am one person, that I wanted to have a disabled content creators roundtable where we could sit and talk about what works, what doesn't, what could be better. And I feel like putting our names to something and putting our names to, saying this is what is happening, this is what we need to do, and I'm hoping I can pull some strings and get some stuff done. Like, it'll be able to. Yeah. So I do have the forms circulating somewhere around my Twitter. I will pin it again to the top of my profile. But if you guys are interested and you guys want to put your 2 cents and you guys just want to hear what's going on, please fill that out. It's September 5th, 12 p.m. PDT. Is it PDT?
Which is 3 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah.
Yes.
2 p.m. Central. Hawaii, you're like 2 hours behind us. So
No,
10.
Hawaii is 3 hours behind. It's 9.
Sorry,
9 a.m.
I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm so bad with time zones.
I'm so excited for that roundtable discussion.
Yay.
Have fun. I don't have a Patreon because I just don't have the energy, but I definitely will be watching.
I mean, you can either come or not. There's no watching. You're coming.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, we
I
can't
don't have
watch.
anything to say, though. I don't have Patreon.
We can't watch anyways, so
Oh,
Mm,
somebody
here.
actually asked what, and this is directed at the whole panel. What do we think of the eSight glasses? And first off, I don't know if I know Gabby, you had mentioned something about them this morning in a message, but
I think they're for visually impaired people.
They're low
Yeah.
vision. Yeah.
they are.
So I can't use them. Sorry.
eSight, because I watched how Casey sees it do an unboxing and demo of them the other day. And I know Carrie from Live Accessible has done videos about them as well, and other blind people or low vision people. They are glasses with a camera in them, and there are screens, like basically where the lenses are, that are facing you, the wearer. And as a person with low vision, you are able to see things at a magnified rate, and I think you can zoom in and out. And it comes with like a remote that you can use to control it with, and I believe that there's also a phone app that you can use with it. I really don't know that much about them. I used a piece of assistive technology when I was in middle and high school that was a little bit similar to that, except it was a pair of goggles that were tethered to like a moving little like camera thing. And it gave me a headache, so because I was looking at a screen all the time. So I have no experience with eSight. I don't have an opinion on them. I think they look cool. But other than that, I don't know.
I'm
and
blind for eSight, sorry.
Yeah.
They don't have an app. I just
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't heard of them until I saw some people on YouTube do reviews. But I mean, I'm very behind the times when it comes to like the apps and the eSight and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For blind people. So
Yeah, someone said that they just prefer Orcam, which is not. I feel like that blind people can use.
So
Orcam
I have one, and I never use it ever, 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 ever.
Did she mention ever?
I'm sorry, no. It's like
Right.
it just kind of sits there, and I don't like it. It's very inconvenient. Like when I got Aira, it was kind of like it's like one of those things where you don't realize how good it can be until it gets better. Like Orcam versus Aira.
Yeah, I completely agree. I demoed Orcam at convention. Orcam is a little camera mount
It looks
thing.
like a flash drive. Like
yeah,
a thick
it looks like a flash
drive
drive, and it sits on a pair of glasses, so you can put them on like any pair of glasses.
on the side.
And it uses like the camera and artificial intelligence to tell you verbally what you're looking at. And I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of it. And then I had,
Mhm.
for some reason, told them that I was interested in doing a more in-depth demo, and they would not stop contacting me about it, like the people at OrCam. Like, I once got called at 8 o'clock at night by a representative from OrCam.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Yep.
goodness.
And I was like, please take me off of this list. I am no longer interested in this demo. I saw all that I wanted to see at convention. However, thank you. But I feel like that OrCam is more usable than eSight in terms of the broader blindness spectrum.
Yeah.
Again, like, I'm just talking like my perspective here.
Okay,
Anyway.
I do have to go because my
Yeah.
laptop is dying.
Thank you for to
Yeah.
wrap this up.
Yeah.
So
An
thank
hour
you.
and a half, not bad.
Diana is going to have all of our links in the
Yes.
description of this video.
Yes.
Everybody's link is in the description of
And
this.
Twitter.
Yep. Everybody's Twitter, YouTube, all of the links that you guys had given me to post in the description.
Anything more information than you could possibly ever want
It's
is in the
on
description of this. Yeah. Podcast. Oh my god.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Diana.
all for being
Bye.
here.
Thanks,
Good to
Diana.
know.
Bye.
Bye.